Welcome to Digital Hollywood at Da Vinci. Our special guests on today's podcast are Leo Matchett and Michael Musante, co-founders of Decentralized Pictures, a nonprofit organization seeking to discover new and innovative filmmaking talent. Decentralized Pictures, better known as DCP, was founded by Roman Coppola, Leo Matchett, and Michael Musante. But before we get started, let's take a peek at the location of the day. Here's another location from Spielberg's film Duel, located in the heart of Acton, California. Let's now welcome Leo Matchett and Michael Musante of Decentralized Pictures. So how are you guys today?
Great. Thanks so much, Sam, for having us. It's an honor to be here and yeah, doing well. It's a nice sunny day in Los Angeles and it's nice to have a little nice weather. I think it's going to rain for the next few days. So yeah, I'm going to try and get outside and take a walk or something.
Very nice.
Hmm.
How about you, Mike?
Great to be here. Yeah, good. Just spending some time with the family, but good to be here and good to be talking to you. Excited to talk about Decentralized Pictures.
Can you tell me a little bit about what Decentralized Pictures is? And then I would really love to go in behind the scenes if we could do that and how it works.
Sure. I can give an overview of Decentralized Pictures. So Decentralized Pictures was founded by Roman Coppola, Leo, and myself several years ago. We came up with the idea and started building it, and really it comes out of the ethos of American Zoetrope. I'm head of production at American Zoetrope, and obviously the Coppola family. That's been the family film company for several decades now, and its ethos has always been about finding new artists and new ideas in filmmaking and supporting them, and often doing so outside of the Hollywood system, sidestepping a Hollywood system so that the artist and the creative can be supported and their vision can be supported in a very faithful way. And so Decentralized Pictures very much looks to use blockchain technology, Web3 technology to carry on that and to implement that. And we several years ago, we and Leo really saw an opportunity for that in Web3. There's a lot of different ways that Web3 can be used, and in the film space. And what we saw is that it can be used as a way to curate projects and sell projects for finance. Does in a nutshell, we use our community selection methodology where the community weighs in, gives its opinions on projects that are submitted to the platform, and we use that community selection protocol to decide which projects to finance from our film fund. So just to give you sort of a user experience, let's say we post an award, one of our recent awards that's $100,000 finishing fund. Donated by Steven Soderbergh. This is second of our Steven Soderbergh sponsored awards, the Andrews Bernard Award. We post that to the platform, and then filmmakers who have films, projects that are eligible for that award, they have features, narrative projects, features or shorts that are at the finishing stage and need completion funds, can submit a pitch of their project to the platform. In order to do that, they do need to pay a submission fee in our native cryptographic token, the film credit. Those film credits get locked into a smart contract, which then pay other members of the community for reviewing. So the other members of the community, film fans, film goers, film other filmmakers, critics, film lovers, whomever wants to participate, they actually get incentivized to give their opinion on the projects that are submitted. And through this review process, it's essentially we find the projects that are the most worthy and most deserving of the financing and of the other support that we provide. In essence, it's a kind of a massive focus group in a very efficient way, where focus group members are paid for their work, but they give their opinions about the projects that are submitted. There are a number of ways we can get into these details, but there are a number of ways that we We also encourage our users and incentivize our users to provide thought views. You know, we don't want trolling. We don't want people to just, oh, did I lag there?
A little bit. What you said, I think where you were saying is thoughtful and honest.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think what you were saying, sorry, Mike, you just cut out a little there at the end. Users are incentivized to provide thoughtful and honest reviews so that you know, they can increase their user reputation, which will in turn enable them and, you know, essentially make them eligible to larger portions of those bounties that are created when users submit their films for consideration for these awards. And, you know, by doing that, it establishes a you know, a way to weight the different users' votes in the platform. So if someone comes along and just very quickly votes on a number of projects without giving them proper due diligence, their votes won't, you know, be as important to the overall result, and they won't share in as much of the potential rewards for doing that work than someone who takes the, you know, proper time and does a comprehensive review of a film and writes it down and shares that review with the community. Other community members can then upvote that in almost a Reddit style, and because of that importance that review is, you know, has provided to the community, you know, they deserve obviously more of the potential rewards for doing that work in a you know, comprehensive and honest way. So yeah, through this process, we can, you know, essentially figure out which filmmakers and which content is most desired by the people that we think will end up watching it. And we, you know, can mitigate risk in our decision as a foundation through that process by determining, you know, the potential audiences. And that's really how the studio system makes their decisions as well, right? I mean, they are looking retrospectively, as Mike likes to say, at previous data, you know, previous IP that has been successful, rather, you know, as a book or as a comic book or as a, you know, previous film, say it's a remake, and use that built-in audience to mitigate the risk on making a film in the future. We can do that instantaneously or almost instantaneously on IP that is unknown, because we're getting that real-time data and review for these potential projects, and hopefully taking out some of that risk for the fund in doing and taking this approach. Mike, anything else you want to add there? I'm happy to jump into the way the algorithm works and you know, a little more nuts and bolts after.
Yeah, the last thing I'll just add, hopefully I'm not lagging here, is, you know, the
Is he lagging for you?
Yeah.
It's lagging.
Well, as soon as you say that, then you go into lag mode.
Yeah.
As soon as I start, I'll try one more time. One of the problems we're trying to solve is that part of our premise is that a lot of great talent and content fall through the cracks. Projects and filmmakers that could be successful both artistically as well as commercially. And because of the centralized nature of Hollywood and how difficult it is for new and up and coming filmmakers to get their break, to get access through agents, through managers and lawyers, to get their scripts read at studios or by independent financiers, because of just those institutional barriers, it's very difficult, and a lot of great things are falling through the cracks. And what DCP endeavors to do is to reach out into the filmmaking community in the US and all over the world, really, and find that talent and elevate it, and so that those things don't fall through the cracks. And really, we feel like there's a lot of opportunity, both in terms of creative and commercially, and in a business sense, it's being left on the table, if you will. And DCP seeks to really capitalize on that and profit from that, to the benefit of filmmakers. Remember, DCP is a 501c3 not-for-profit. It's a non-stock corporation. So all revenues that DCP gets from the films that it finances go back into the film fund and go back into the foundation to support future artists.
Add a layer of transparency to it and auditability, especially when giving away lots of money, and pay people in a very efficient way, is why this technology, is beneficial for us. If you're going to be reviewing 1,000 films or 100 films over the course of a week or a month or however long, there's potentially a lot of micropayments in there, right? And we can make all of those dynamically from a smart contract to the people that have done that work for next to no cost, and with zero human interaction. It's all triggered through events that the user themselves trigger by doing the work that they've been asked to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we totally agree that there's serious potential, and we see it potentially going past just focus grouping a film. I mean, it could go. We have a feature now that's been released recently in the system called creative queries, where we could get feedback from audiences about specific decisions that a character should make at specific times in the film, or which trailer is better to go to market with in a specific region of the world, which cast member would be better to play a certain role. I mean, there's so many interesting use cases, and to quickly and efficiently be able to query an audience, we feel is very important and useful. In our case, for now, it's determining how we allocate our resources as a foundation, but there are so many other use cases that we would like to eventually release and use, and it could even be something like for an ad agency or an advertiser, which pitch or which treatment better represents their product in a commercial. We actually have one interesting query that's out in the community right now. We listed every category of the Oscars, best picture, best cinematography, etc., and all of the nominations into queries. And we're going to see how our community votes compare to the Academy, of course, when the Oscars happen this year on March 12th. And it'll be interesting to check the results of how our community thought one film or one actor was deserving of the award, when we'll see. Everyone's always saying, oh, it's so political, these award shows, not the Oscars necessarily, but I mean, people are always talking about the politics of these award shows and the sponsorships and how that weighs into the decision making of who ends up getting the awards. There's no real incentive for anyone to pick anything than the thing that they actually like in our system, and the more honestly they pick them, the more they should theoretically earn in our system. So yeah, it's a fun experiment. We're excited to see the results in a little under a month. So
it'd be nice to see the Academy going over to DCP going, like, what did they vote for? Let's check this out,
Right. Our Decentralized Academy of Film 3 Arts and Sciences. Yeah.
Well, so that gets me to going back to, and I've learned this a lot, being in the Web3 space, being into blockchain. I'm sure you guys have to do a lot of education of your community. And that's usually, right now, I'm seeing a hiccup or a hang up. It's not as easy yet of going on to like a PayPal and really just sending cryptocurrency, or sending regular money like you would cryptocurrencies. So there's a lot of people that don't want to go through that whole process yet, but it's becoming easier. I do see it becoming easier. So as far as somebody that wants to, and this is where looking at your webpage and stuff, somebody that wants to actually be part of your community, get involved, go ahead and sign up. Can you give me a crash course of what it would take to log on to DCP and be be part of the community?
Sure. Yeah. Right now we have actually a little bit of a cumbersome onboarding process. We're in the process of streamlining it to make it a little bit easier. But essentially, it's like signing up to any website, like creating a Facebook account or Twitter or whatnot. You verify an email address and you pick a username, and then you log in. But once you log in, you have to do a few things. You got to create a wallet. Right now we're using non-custodial social login wallets, which basically means any service that uses OAuth 2 can be used to encrypt in a non-custodial way the private keys of your wallet. That all happens in the background. All you need to do is sign in with Google, Twitter, or Facebook or whatnot, and it will create a wallet automatically for you in our system. And then you also have to do what's called KYC. Part of the reason we do the KYC is, I discussed earlier with you before we started, I think, was to mitigate what we call Sybil attacks, so people can't create multiple accounts and try and game the system. But it also actually gives us very valuable insights because through that KYC process, we can get non-identifiable, indicative data about which audiences, which content is striking a chord with. So, as people vote for a certain film, we can look at that and say, oh, wow, this film, scored very highly with, men 25 to 40 in the West Coast of United States, but didn't with the same demographic in I don't know, in Europe. And so there's interesting insights that can be gleaned from that and using that process. And that's actually going to help the filmmakers when one gets selected for financing, and for us to help, as executive producers or however, get their film across the finish line and potentially sold or distributed, whether in Web 2 or Web 3 or old school theatrical release. There's going to be all this pre-existing market data that the distributors or the P&A budget can look to and sort of get a decent idea of how to target that marketing spend without actually having to do any focus groups or spending any money. I'm sure they would do that as well potentially, but if that data syncs up enough times, they may eventually be like, you know what, this data is reliable, we don't need to do those focus groups. So yeah, basically you sign up, you do the KYC, you create a wallet, and then you're good to go. You can just start reviewing projects. You can submit your own project. You can do what we call quizzes to build up your user reputation and earn some film credits so that you can submit your own project. The idea is to make it accessible to the world. So no matter where you are, if you're in a, developing nation or in a, rich neighborhood in North America or wherever in the world, it's accessible to you as long as you're willing to put in a bit of work.
Well, one quick thing, while Leo's pulling this up, there is a small amount of work to be done for people to log on, create their wallets, and get going. But once they do, really the heart of what DCP is about, and a heart of the engagement for the user, is about reviewing creative projects, reviewing films, giving their opinions. There, you don't need to be a Web3 expert or know how to create a node to participate in DCP. It's really, the focus is the films and the artists, and engaging and giving opinions about that, and submitting your projects to be considered for these awards. So that's really the heart, and really I would say 95% of what DCP is about.
And so most of these projects, you have a lot of them that are full features or just full short stories already on the site?
We offer financing awards for projects at different stages of the process and for different formats. So we have projects that are at the, where we offer financing at the script stage. We offer financing and other support for projects that are at completion fund stage and everywhere in between. And we want to support and provide awards for shorts, features, scripted, documentary. We'd like to get into other types, of creative content, AR and VR content, comic books, other and books and things like that. We're starting with film, but we don't want there to be a limit to the creative format.
Yep. And as I'm showing you this, I just sort of went through some of the materials of this proposal. And, I could set a rating for commercial viability, creativity, characters, or plot. These, as we call them, value sets will change based on the round. So, for example, with a documentary, an important valuation, criteria value set would be, social impact, for example. And then you can select to pass, consider, or recommend the project to your peers, and then write up a review about it, why you feel the way you do about scoring it and your recommendation. And then you can stake on it. So as you can see, I have film credits in my balance here. I can add some of them to my review, and they'll lock them up for the duration of the review period. I will get them back at the end, but I can't use them for anything else. So, let's say you had 100 film credits, you'd need to decide how you wanted to allocate them across different projects that you're going to review. So if there's 10, you could do 10 on each, or if there was, one you really liked, then you could put all of them on that one. However, you can't use them for multiple proposals at the same time. So you need to choose which ones you like best. And then I won't actually submit this because I didn't actually read it, but you can then go through and review as many projects as you'd like. A lot of projects actually do pitch videos.
Hi, my name is Amanda Rudiant. I'm a Chilean documentary filmmaker that recently.
Oops, can you guys hear that?
Hi, my name is Matchett. I'm a Chilean documentary filmmaker.
Basically people are talking about who they are
governmental office
as filmmakers, why the story they're telling is important, and why the community should care about it. That's very engaging really to the community because they get a sense of what the filmmaker's going for, just the same way a filmmaker would if they were walking into an office at Warner Brothers or Disney or wherever. You want to really get your vision across to the community so that they can properly evaluate it. Then this rounds page is awards that are currently active in the community. We just finished this Kevin Smith award, and you can see the results of what projects were submitted and the scores. And the winning project is going to win $40,000 to create a short to hopefully be a stepping stone for a feature film or a comedy series. And Kevin Smith and his team are going to help that filmmaker execute their vision and hopefully create something that can be successful. These are the creative queries that I was talking about. These are some of those Oscar, categories. We just launched these, so as you can see, people are choosing the way that they feel about the categories and which answer they think should win. It looks like most people are voting for number 3, which is Everything Everywhere All at Once. So we'll see if that wins for film editing. Oops, back to overview. So yeah, anyway, there's that. And then this is the quiz section. You can, take quiz questions. Mike probably knows the answer to this. Is it David Frankel? No, Jessica Hansner. No, damn, it was David Frankel. Anyway, The Big Lebowski. Yeah, I know that one. I'm not very good at these. She wrote which film? I know this. Anyway, so you can pause and it'll skip the question you paused on, but you can see, obviously, some people are really good at these. There's been some high scores just today. There's been, a number of really high scores already. And then you can moderate. So we have a community moderation process where any community member can become a moderator and try and filter out spam or hate speech or inappropriate content from the platform. And yeah, so if you want to submit, you can create a proposal or a creative query. A proposal, you have to select a round that you're, eligible for, because some sponsors or donors who create rounds through donations, they want, a certain eligibility criteria. So, let's just say filmmakers in Europe, for example, are only eligible for a certain award. Right now, none of these have those eligibility criteria, but it is possible. And so let's just say Leo's proposal. I would then upload, some cover art and a pitch video, some imagery and files like a script or a treatment or whatnot. Create a log line, create a description, select genres for the films that I'm uploading, target audience languages. And then you can actually create your own chat room when you submit your project, so people have a place to discuss specifically your project. And yeah, then you can set a bounty for how much you want people to earn for reviewing. You can set a super high bounty if you'd like, but it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it means you may get more reviews, but doesn't mean they're going to be more good reviews. Could be bad reviews, and people will be incentivized to be honest. So you can do that. But yeah, that's a very sort of quick and dirty overview of the platform. I know we have about 1 minute left, so I'll stop sharing. Oh, we lost Mike.
Well, we'll get Mike back on next time.
Okay.
I gotta say, it's so exciting because your platform basically, not only built towards filmmakers, but to the community.
Yeah.
And it just creates that, community. I love it. With that, I hope to have you back on board, back on for another one in the future. And
Absolutely.
even let's talk about, maybe being part of Digital Hollywood again this year. I'd love to see one of your finalized films that may come out of your platform onto the screen.
Yeah, you know what? We have a film that we financed last year that's going to be at a huge film festival this year, which we're super excited about. One of the biggest festivals in the world. So it looks like the selection process is working, because and the film is fantastic, and it looks like we may have another one as well. So yeah, we're very excited about showcasing these filmmakers, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon. I'm happy to participate in this year's Digital Hollywood again.
Awesome. Great, Leo. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Leo and Michael for sharing Decentralized Pictures with us. And to find out more of what they're doing, head over to decentralized.pictures. Now, let's take a look at the location of the day. Welcome to On Location with Lila. As you can see in the background, this is one of the locations Duel was shot at. This is where he comes off the cliff. And he parks his car right down there and takes a nap, waiting for the truck to go by. This location is located in Acton, California on Soledad Canyon Road, approximately 5 miles from the intersection of Soledad Canyon and Crown Valley Road. Much of this area has been relatively unchanged from 52 years.
Maybe the police will pull you in by then.
As you can see in this clip, the railroad tracks have been relocated, but the original barn in the background still stands today. Here we are in the heart of Acton, California on Crown Valley Road. The laundromat and duel is now a California Bank and Trust.
Anybody who plays meat.
Well, a lot of people think it's strange.
Yes, I can understand that. And no offense, you know, serious about that?
I found in the old storage locker that
So how things have changed in Acton 52 years ago.